Well, good Sunday morning, is it Sunday morning? Yeah, I think it's Sunday morning. Good Sunday morning to everybody. We're going to talk about the Alexander Usyk and Rico Verhoeven boxing fight that took place last night on Saturday. And we're going to actually we're going to talk about a few things related to sports betting and these choke artists that I keep seeing. So, I bet on the fight. And honestly, it was kind of a bad night for boxing. It was a bad night for boxing in the main event because Usyk, in my opinion, he lost that fight. Now, obviously, he won by TKO, but he was losing that fight. And the problem is that if you're the world champion, undefeated, undisputed heavyweight champion boxer, and you're getting almost to the 12th and final round, if you're getting to the 11th round and you need to win by knockout, that's a fucking problem. That's a serious problem. Especially when your opponent is a guy who's 1-0 in boxing. I think Rico Verhoeven was 1-0 in boxing. He's a kickboxer, right? He's an incredible kickboxer. He's a great fighter, but he's not a boxer, okay? And both of these guys are kind of over the hill. People are now making excuses for Usyk. Oh, he's 39 years old, as if Rico Verhoeven isn't 37 years old and he's not a boxer. He's a kickboxer. So this is a terrible look for boxing that a kickboxer can come into boxing and give Usyk more trouble probably than he's had in any of his fights. It's a bad situation. Like I said, when you're the boxer and you're getting to the final rounds of the fight and you're behind on the scorecards, losing pretty badly, and you need the knockout. That's kind of the script is flipped on that one. So I lost money on this in a very stupid way. I've lost money a couple times on this same situation where I obviously bet on Usyk as the favorite, and the odds weren't too great. I shouldn't have even bet on him. I should have bet on Rico. And I did bet on Rico. I bet on Usyk, and as soon as Usyk was starting to lose, I was like, well, this guy is actually going to lose. I thought in the back of my mind, maybe he somehow gets the knockout, which he did, even though the referee was a retard. And I'm not going to say it was corruption, but it's certainly a stoppage like that makes you think the sport is corrupt. Like, how convenient. He's clearly losing on the scorecards, unless the judges are just blind and paid off. There's really very difficult to argue that Usyk was winning that fight. He was probably behind by quite a bit, by quite a large margin on the scorecards. He really did need that KO victory. So the only thing to think about is that I thought maybe the judges would give it to him in his favor, um, or that he would get the knockout. But I knew that if it went to the judges, and we had people with eyes and ears that were watching the fight, they were going to give it to Rico. So I started betting on Rico. And I'm telling you, a lot of people got robbed. I mean, some people probably made some money on Rico with the live odds because he was like 25 to 1 underdog at one point before the fight started. So if you had bet some money on Rico, at one point the odds flipped to him winning over 80%. And I was up some money on Rico. But I sold my Usyk position, which I hated to do, because I wanted to stay confident in Usyk. And actually, if I had bet more on Usyk, if you bought Usyk at like 25 odds when they flipped in Rico's favor, you would have made a shit ton of money. And that's the beauty of live betting, because if you're confident in who's going to win and you get better odds than the odds makers give you during the live odds, Usyk was a clear favorite to win, about as clear as a favorite as a person can be. And you instead of getting 90 10 odds, you would have had 25, 75 odds ish, and you would have made a 4-1 payout on Usyk. He suddenly became the underdog. I mean, it's just free money. But I sold and bought on Rico because I used my, instead of using my instinct, I used logic, and logic doesn't work a lot of times with sports. And so I lost money on both Rico and Usyk, which is just a ridiculous, terrible situation. How can I lose money on both? You guaranteed to make money unless it's some kind of a draw on either one of them. But I lost on both of them because first I bet on Usyk, saw Usyk was losing, then I bet on the other guy, and then that fucking guy somehow lost. And I'm going to blame the referee because he should not have stopped that fight, especially after the bell. It appeared to be after the bell. So shitty referee. Guy's a shitty referee, and you know, not a good performance from Usyk, but certainly not a good performance from that referee. And I'm just gonna have to say, not a good look for boxing. You got a lot of people coping and suggesting that Usyk would have just knocked him out in the 12th round anyway. You can't say that with a certainty. You don't know that is what Usyk would have done given the opportunity to. You cannot say that for sure. I can't say that. You can't say that. Rico may have survived. Rico may have knocked him out. You don't know. Only thing I can say, very bad luck for boxing and bad luck for Usyk, who is a great fighter, but honestly, bad luck for boxing. And I'm gonna say, he's had a couple of moments in his career where, I think there's been a lot of people dick riding Usyk because of what's going on in Ukraine. Not to say he's not a cool dude and that he isn't a great fighter, he is, but there's been a lot of dick riding on this guy just because he's Ukrainian. Uh, and that doesn't take away credit from what he's done in the sport, but I mean, he arguably could have been stopped against Dubois in the first fight. Dubois is just a fucking idiot. So obviously he ended up getting knocked out, and in the rematch he got knocked out in a fight that he arguably should have won in the first fight, but they called it a low blow. I'm still not too sure about that. And he was just getting he couldn't figure out Rico Verhoeven. Rico fights with a very bladed stance. He's a bigger fighter, a long reach, and he was just very awkward for Usyk, and he was landing good shots on Usyk. Usyk was able to take them well, and of course he clipped Rico in the 11th round as Rico was coming in, hit him with a good shot. Obviously, fatigue is starting to set in. He may very well have gotten the finish, but it's a bad look if you need to get a finish and you're the boxer. Usyk is not the guy known for knocking people out, even though he's able to do so. He's known for being the efficient boxer and getting things done in that manner. So it's a serious issue for boxing that you got these other guys coming in from other sports and making it way too close in boxing. And I don't know. I'm disappointed that I lost money in a very stupid way because I got fucked on both ends. I got fucked by the boxer who should have been easy money, losing the fight. And then, of course, you have a little bit of, if it's not corruption, then it's a little bit of just, I don't know, incompetence and bad luck that the guy that was winning ended up getting knocked out. But it's not a satisfying conclusion either way. Because on one end, you feel like Rico was going to win that fight, and you lost money betting on both of them. But also that as a boxing fan, boxing is kind of getting exposed in a way. Not completely, but it's just, that people were saying that Rico had no chance, and that's a bunch of marketing. Well, I mean, you had people in certain situations, fights that are not close, the marketing people say, oh, there's a chance, you don't know what's going to happen. But this guy's so good and so awkward for boxers. They don't really have any footage on him. A lot closer than people said that it was going to be. So people just need to, shut the fuck up sometimes, writing these guys off like they don't have a chance. Of course they have a chance. It's heavyweight boxing. Um, but realistically, it should not have been that close, and so it's a kind of a bad night for boxing. So I'm kind of left. Unless you're delusional, you can't look at that and say, "Oh yeah, boxing is still on top." It's questionable. It's questionable letting these guys from other sports come in and do you like that. But anyway, I also want to talk very shortly about the Cleveland Cavaliers that choked a couple nights ago with 99 to 1 odds to win to the New York Knicks. They're now down 3-0 in the series, and I'm very happy about that. Fuck the Cleveland Cavaliers. Fuck James Harden. Fuck the coach, Kenny Atkinson. Bunch of fucking idiots. And I like Donovan Mitchell, but I can't like him right now because he's on that team. And I hope he gets out of Cleveland. Shitty. Nothing against the people of Cleveland or the fans of the Cavs and all that, but when you're up 22 points with about 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter of a game one road game in the playoffs and you choke that, I remember thinking to myself, because I bet some good money on that game, and I thought Cleveland was just going to run away with it. And I thought to myself, there's no way they're going to get outscored by. They cut the lead to 17, the Knicks did, but I thought there's no way they're going to outscore them by 17 points in 6 minutes, which is like give or take 10 possessions. If you have a 24-second possession on average, it's like 10 possessions per team, or like 5 to 10 possessions per team for the rest of the game. I thought to myself, there's no way they're going to hold Cleveland scoreless when they've been getting outworked all game, and also, score 17 or 18 points in like 6 minutes. But they did. It went to overtime. Cleveland collapsed. They choked and got fucked in overtime. And they were 99 to 1 to win. And if you would bet all of your money on the New York Knicks at that moment, you would have made 100 times your money. And I mean, some people are fucking rich off of that one game because of how the pendulum swung with the live odds. And that's the crazy thing about live odds. And I've lost money a couple times by being a dumbass and not staying true to my picks. Because you can sell your position with prediction markets and just buy the other side and hedge your bet, which is, there's nothing wrong with doing that. But when you end up losing on both ways because the A side ends up winning and you sold your A side, it's very fucking annoying. So honestly, sports is just kind of retarded sometimes. Sports doesn't really make any sense. Sports is just bullshit to bet on sometimes. Like probably 70-80% of the time you could just bet on the favorite to win, and that do the reasonable thing. But some of these motherfuckers are just choke artists, and I don't know what to say about Usyk. I'm not happy with Usyk's performance. I'm not happy with the refereeing of that fight or the judging, because they may have just given Usyk the robbery. Even if it went to the scorecards, there's no way you can have him winning the fight. Even if it was closer than people think, he's still, it's a bad look for boxing. And some of these fucking NBA players, these motherfuckers get paid so much money to just flop around and fucking brick shots. And some of these bench players that don't do shit are getting paid, just for being there. And they're very talented, but hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. And I just can't understand, you got people at home that are betting money that have higher stakes on the game than people getting paid millions of dollars, and you could make good money on these games and these players, but these motherfuckers find some way to fuck it up on you. Disgraceful from Cleveland. Hope they get swept in the series, and honestly not great for boxing. Boxing a couple times a year, they have a couple of interesting fights. You can't write boxing off completely, and you can't say that boxers aren't still, favored to win in boxing, but it's a bad look when you're letting a kickboxer come in there and do you like that. And MMA is just way more exciting in general. Obviously, everybody loves the aspect of hand-to-hand combat and boxing more than the wrestling shit, unless you're just a wrestling dick rider. But the actual sport of boxing and how it's I mean, it used to be a much better sport than it is now. But honestly, there's things to hate about both MMA and boxing, but I'm not satisfied with anything about the main event last night between Usyk and Verhoeven. Good event while it lasted. Wasn't marketed very well. Nothing but a gimmick to go the pyramids of Giza, but that was cool, I guess. Um, but not a good look for the sport of boxing. But hey, we got MMA coming up in a few weeks. And, fuck the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's all I got to say in this video.